Oh, hey, and wow, I triggered a lot of you yesterday with that whole pineapple pizza thing. I guess I really touched a nerve there, huh? But don't think for a second that I didn't ask myself the question about all of you that said fruit doesn't belong on pizza. How do you explain the tomatoes? I mean, that's definitely a fruit, right? But the debate rages on, kind of like the debate over what's the right way to cut a sandwich. I'm a diagonal cut guy myself, but I'm sure we have at least one vertical cutter out there. Man, I'm bad. Okay, go ahead, let me know in the comments below which way you cut your sandwich while I roll the intro for that cruise news. Hey, welcome to the Midships channel. I'm Corey, and I'm going to be serving you another sweet slice of that cruise news. And I promise this one, it's going to be sans pineapple. Do y'all like these little lighthearted conversation topics that I've been doing? If you do, make sure you slap that like button so I know I should keep doing some more. Now, we're going to look at that cruise news, and tomorrow, it's going to be maybe the biggest news day of the year. And that's because the largest cruise ship ever built is set to take her maiden voyage tomorrow. The Wonder of the Seas will carry most of your favorite YouTubers, along with thousands of other lucky passengers along with her. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be one of those lucky YouTubers joining on board the Wonder of the Seas this time. And while we're talking about Royal Caribbean, we have to talk about this new rule from the US Customs and Border Protection that's now preventing Russian and Ukrainian crew members on board cruise ships from even setting foot off their ships when they're in the US. That's right, they can't get off the ships. Yeah, it's a real thing. I'll fill you in on what's going on. Also, Disney Cruise Line, they're changing up their masking policy starting mid-March. And even more cruise lines are pulling out of Russia, to include Princess and Aida cruise lines. But we're going to begin by taking a look at the Wonder of the Seas. We're literally less than 24 hours from her very first sailing ever with paying passengers. The vessel, she's 18 decks high, the largest cruise ship ever built. Tomorrow's cruise departs from Port Everglades in South Florida, and Wonder of the Seas will be making a 7-night itinerary with stops including Labadee, San Juan, Nassau, as well as Royal Caribbean's private island, Perfect Day at Coco Cay. And if you too would like to sail on board Wonder of the Seas, you've got a limited time to do so, because following this inaugural sailing, she'll only have 7 cruises left here in the US before she heads over to the Mediterranean for her summer season. And some cool things about Wonder of the Seas: this is the first Oasis-class ship to be divided up into 8 neighborhoods, unlike all her sister ships who only have 7. And that additional neighborhood on Wonder, it's called the Suite Neighborhood. Also on board is a brand new restaurant to Royal Caribbean called the Mason Jar. And I'm sure you've been looking at some of these beautiful photos coming out from Wonder of the Seas. Obviously, Royal Caribbean, their game, it's pretty good when it comes to outfitting these new ships. The attention to detail that Royal puts into these ships, it's just awesome. So if any of you out there are sailing aboard Wonder of the Seas, please do me a favor, reach out to me on the Midships Facebook or on my Instagram page at Midships Cruise and send me over some of those pictures or videos from Wonder of the Seas. I'd love to be able to see some of them and maybe share them on an upcoming Midships episode. And of course, I'm not only interested in just people who are cruising on Wonder of the Seas. If you're going on a cruise, you're on a cruise, you just got home from one, go ahead and send me some of those photos, some of those videos. Let me know about your experience. So I was doing my morning reading for the cruise news, and I happened to stumble across an article coming out from Matt Hochberg of Royal Caribbean blog that provided a little bit of info about what's going on with crew members who are either Ukrainian or Russian when they come here to US ports. And basically, they're not allowed to get off cruise ships right now in the US because of Customs and Border Patrol. So I want to talk about that with you here now, right after I remind you that I'm hosting a group cruise out of Charleston, South Carolina this October 24th aboard the Carnival Sunshine. If you'd like to cruise for 5 days down in the Caribbean along with me and many others from the Midship family, go ahead and follow the link to the Facebook group in the description down below. Even if you just want some more info, I'd encourage you to join up in the group. Don't forget the Midships merch store is open. I have custom designed, about a dozen or so different shirts, and they're absolutely amazing in my opinion. I think it's some of the best looking cruise related clothing that I've seen out there. And that's because it's not the normal cheesy designs that you see on a lot of cruise themed shirts. So if you'd like to make everyone jealous of your shirt on your next cruise, there's a link to the store in the description below this video. I'll also pin one up here in the upper right hand corner. Just makes it easier if you're on a mobile device. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, this story about US Customs and Border Patrol barring crew members from shore leave because of a war they didn't start, frankly made me pretty upset. Basically, the gist of it is that any seafarer from either of those two countries, Russia or Ukraine, are not allowed to disembark any ship in a US port at the moment. And Royal Caribbean CEO Michael Bailey, he says the following about all of it. Foreign crew are typically granted a visa to enter into the US as seafarers, and they're processed and then given an I-95 form, which is kind of like a permission slip to go ashore in US ports. Our latest information to be confirmed is that US CBP has stopped shore leave and repatriation for all Ukrainian and Russian crew. This impacts all seafarers. We're working with our government relations team and the cruise industry to see if this could be relaxed. The crew are free to come and go in all other non-US ports so far, Bailey added. So it's a little disheartening to hear this news. I distinctly remember meeting a lot of crew members aboard royal ships who come from both of those countries. We had wonderful conversations. I even remember your names. If you're out there and you're watching, I'm sorry about all of it. I hope this gets sorted out pretty quickly. And something seemingly that is getting sorted out quickly, that's cruise lines changing their itineraries into Russia, as two more have just announced they're no longer going to be going into Russia. And of course, that's Princess and Aida Cruise Lines. If you're not familiar with Aida, they're over there in the UK, their newest ship, she's called the Cosma. And they're the ships that are painted with those like super weird, freaky yellow eyes and a big kissing lip up front. Honestly, they're the things of nightmares if you ask me, but maybe you like the design. It's just definitely not for me at all. So Aida Cruise Lines, they're canceling Russian calls on 4 of their ships, and instead they're going to go to places like Latvia, Denmark, Norway, or Sweden. And for Princess Cruises, this is going to result in 24 calls being modified that were originally slated to go to St. Petersburg, Russia. The port that they're going to replace it with seems like it's going to be Stockholm, Sweden. So let's bring things a little bit closer to home here and talk about Disney Cruise Line changing up protocols on their ships beginning March 11th. According to Travel Pulse, on that date, mask usage will become optional for Disney cruise guests entering most indoor locations throughout the entirety of the ship. However, it's important to note anyone 2 and older, even those fully vaccinated, will have to wear face coverings in the Walt Disney Theater. So Disney Cruise Line, the Mouse, they're finally changing up and matching their protocols to pretty much every other major cruise line sailing here in the US. As of right now, I think MSC is still the only one holding out with masks, despite everybody else providing more choice for their guests. So the ball's in your court. It's your move, MSC. Now we're going to pivot our attention over to the port of Mobile, Alabama, because the Carnival Ecstasy, she's getting ready to sail a farewell tour of sorts. If you don't already know, the Carnival Ecstasy will be leaving Carnival's fleet in early October of this year. So this is sort of her swan song season, so to speak. And of course, I'm going to be on board that final cruise ever for the Ecstasy. However, let's not talk about endings right now because we need to talk about beginnings. And that beginning is this Saturday, March the 5th, out of the port of Mobile, Alabama. The Carnival Ecstasy will be the first cruise ship to depart that port since the pandemic shutdown all the way back in 2020. Marking the occasion will be the cruise line's president, Christine Duffy, along with the local mayor. So keep your eyes peeled for Christine. I was actually super jealous when I saw my friends Eddie and Laura from Huddle Adventures here on YouTube. They actually ran into Christine on their cruise on board the Mardi Gras that they just finished up with just the other day. They posted a photo with her on Instagram. I was so jealous. If you've never checked out their channel, it's just Huddle Adventures here on YouTube. And if you're here watching me, chances are you'd really enjoy their channel as well. So you should check it out after this video. Now, we recently talked about a nude cruise going out on the Carnival Pride, and I think a lot of you were more interested in that cruise than I thought, judging by the comments. So I figured I'd introduce you to yet another themed cruise. This one leaves out of Miami, and the theme, it's the Golden Girls. The cruise departs Miami April 8th of 2023 aboard the Celebrity Summit on a 5-night cruise down to Key West and Cozumel. On board, you can take part in costume contests, pub crawls, and other events, all themed to the popular television show. And themed cruises aren't a new thing. There's many popular ones out there, such as the Beach Boys Cruise, Kiss Cruise, or the aforementioned Nude Cruise. And I'm sure the upcoming Golden Girls Cruise will be pretty special, as it's the first one since the passing of the beloved Betty White. So if you want more info, go to goldenfansatsea.com. For those of you still sticking it out here on this episode, you all are my diehards, my rocks, the reason I do this every day, which is why I have a question for you. Would you be interested in me doing a giveaway for some of the new items in my Midships merch store? Let me know in the comments below. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel with your notification bells turned on so you don't miss when I upload a new episode. Thanks so much for stopping by the channel today, and until tomorrow, we'll see ya on the Midships.
La 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 la